Let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're breaking down the ultimate toolkit for Python data extraction in 2026. Whether you're gathering market research, tracking competitors, extracting product data, or even building massive data sets to train AI, choosing the exact right tool is, frankly, absolutely critical. We're going to compare the top libraries, pull apart their pros and cons, and figure out exactly what you need to build a flawless data pipeline.
Okay, here's our agenda for today. 1. The web scraping landscape. 2. Lightweight and async tools. 3. Heavyweight and browser tools. 4. Defeating anti-bot protections. And 5. Scaling with proxies.
So the crucial point to understand is that in 2026, a Python web scraping library has to do way more than just fetch and parse. It's really about turning this chaotic, highly defended modern web into clean, usable data. The best tools today? They've got to seamlessly handle complex JavaScript rendering and effortlessly scale up to thousands of pages, all while staying completely undetected.
Section 2, Lightweight and Async Tools, the foundation of data extraction.
First up, our trusty pocket knife, the requests library. Look, requests remains the classic, readable HTTP client. Absolutely perfect for simple API calls. It's lightweight, the syntax is super simple, and there's a massive community behind it making it incredibly easy to integrate. But its limitations are pretty clear. There's no asynchronous support, meaning it just handles one request at a time, and you aren't going to get any built-in browser rendering for dynamic sites.
And that brings us to Beautiful Soup. When you pair this with requests, you get a highly effective combo. Requests fetches the page, and Beautiful Soup steps in to effortlessly parse the static HTML and XML. It is incredibly easy to learn, and the documentation is fantastic. The trade-off? Well, it's just not meant for massive scale. It runs a bit slower than modern alternatives, and again, it won't automate a browser for you.
Honestly, for small to medium projects, you simply don't need to overcomplicate your code. If you just need to pull a few data points from a static website, this basic requests and Beautiful Soup workflow remains an incredibly reliable choice.
Now what if you need high-speed concurrency? That's where HTTPX serves as the modern upgrade to requests. While requests is strictly synchronous, HTTPX is built from the ground up for async web scraping. It has a modern HTTP2 API design, meaning it can fire off hundreds of requests at the exact same time without waiting sequentially. If you're building high-speed API scrapers, HTTPX is definitively the 2026 standard.
Moving on to Section 3, Heavyweight and Browser Tools, the industrial machines of web scraping.
Enter Scrapy. This isn't just a library, it is a full-fledged scraping framework. Think of it as a heavy-duty industrial machine purpose-built for continuous data pipelines. You get blazing fast speeds, built-in request scheduling, and incredible scalability. The downside? It definitely has a much steeper learning curve. It's total overkill for a weekend project, and right out of the box, its JavaScript rendering is quite limited.
But listen, if performance, enterprise-level crawling, and handling massive datasets are your primary goals, Scrapy is your undisputed champion. It's literally the backbone of so many professional scraping systems running quietly in the background today.
Of course, modern websites rely heavily on JavaScript, which means we need browser automation. Selenium has been the legacy standard here. It's capable, sure, but it uses a ton of resources and is notoriously easy for websites to detect. Because of that, developers are rapidly moving away from Selenium and flocking to the modern stealth of Playwright. It handles anti-bot systems beautifully, supports async operations, and seamlessly runs across Chromium, Firefox, and WebKit.
Thanks to those advantages, Playwright is now the premier option for scraping modern web applications. If you need to simulate actual user interactions, log into secure portals, or scrape highly dynamic, JavaScript-heavy pages while remaining completely undetected, Playwright is your absolute best bet in 2026.
Section 4. Defeating anti-bot protections. The escalation.
Here's the harsh truth. Even the incredible libraries we just discussed will completely fail if they hit these common roadblocks. Websites actively fight back. They throw up CAPTCHAs to stop you in your tracks. They monitor traffic and hit you with IP bans and aggressive rate limiting if you go too fast. They restrict content based on your geography. And, perhaps most difficult of all, they use advanced techniques to figure out if you're actually a human or just a script. Understanding browser fingerprinting is absolutely key here, because just sending simple HTTP requests often isn't enough anymore. Websites are analyzing your screen resolution, your installed fonts, your operating system, everything, to build a unique fingerprint. If your script screams automated bot, boom, you're blocked immediately. And that's exactly why advanced stealth tools like Playwright are mandatory for tough targets.
Which brings us to Section 5, Scaling with Proxies, the ultimate fix.
So how do we power through rate limits and IP bans to keep our pipelines running smoothly? Let's walk through this incredibly elegant 3-step workflow. First, you create a proxy subscription. Second, instead of managing thousands of IP addresses yourself, you simply route your connections through a proxy API. Third, the API does all the heavy lifting. It automatically selects and rotates the best IP for you. You instantly look like a brand new user on every single request.
Depending on the target's anti-bot complexity, you can equip your scraper from a versatile proxy toolkit. Data center proxies are your high-speed, unlimited data workhorses. But if a site is highly protected, you might need residential proxies, which route your traffic through real consumer IPs for a much higher success rate. And for maximum legitimacy on the strictest platforms, you can use mobile proxies, routing your requests through actual 3G, 4G, or 5G cell tower connections.
To put that into perspective, the scale here is just staggering. By tapping into networks with over 20,000 unique data center proxies, your Scrapy pipeline or HTTPX script can practically operate indefinitely. You distribute your thousands of requests across this massive pool, making absolutely sure you never trigger a target server's rate limits.
And what about those geo-restrictions? Well, with proxy targeting spanning over 140 countries, you literally have the world at your fingertips. Whether you need to check localized pricing in Europe, verify ads in Australia, or scrape search results from the United States, you just tweak an API parameter to bypass regional blocks and gather truly global data.
Take a look at this quote. This customer experience really hits the nail on the head when it comes to the ultimate goal for any data engineer. By combining your carefully chosen Python library with a robust proxy network, you entirely escape that constant cat-and-mouse game of bans and captchas. You set it up once, you forget about it, and you just let the data flow. To sum up our explainer today, you can use this decision matrix to pick the exact right tool for your specific needs. Just starting out or grabbing simple text, lean on beautiful soup and requests. Need high-speed, asynchronous API calls? Grab HTTPX. Building a large-scale enterprise data crawler? Scrapy is your best friend. And for navigating complex, modern JavaScript applications with serious stealth, Playwright is the undisputed choice.
I'm going to leave you with that provocative thought right there. As AI and anti-bot systems evolve, what will the web scraping landscape look like tomorrow? The web is constantly changing, and the defenses are only getting smarter, which means our tools have to be smarter too. Stay curious, keep learning, and as always, choose your tools wisely. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.